What's good, everybody? Doug Washington here. What we're about to go through is the Reinvented Credit Masterclass, and we're going to be breaking down how to obtain a 700 plus FICO, structure your profile with solid comparables, and obtain your first 100 to 250,000 in capital. And we're going to be showing you how to do this in less than a year. Now, most people will say you need 2 years of credit history to get access to maximum exposure, so on and so forth. But I'm here to debunk all myths and show you the strategy that I use to access over $2 million in funding over the past 2 years. Now, what I need from each and every single one of you is to readjust your environment and remove yourself from any distractions, right? Grab a pen and paper and let's take notes, and we're going to eat tonight. Now, if you haven't taken advantage, I have a $47 ebook bundle, the Reinvented Credit Card Stacking Mastery, showing you how to go from a 600 to a 750 FICO, how to build out your personal profile, and then from there start structuring your business to obtain 0% business capital. So listen, man, I'm going to be all the way real with everybody tonight, and I'm going to say some things that's probably going to offend you, but I want what's best for you and the next generation. If I gave each and every single one of you $100,000 at 0% interest, what would you do with it? Drop it in the chat. Let me know. What would you do with $100,000 at 0% interest? I'm probably guessing right. A lot of you are going to say, hey, I would go and start this business. I would go and start this particular venture, or I would partner and do this, so on and so forth. But I challenge your perspective to say, why wouldn't you go out and build other banking relationships? Because eventually the 0% interest ends, and it could be 6 months, it could be 12 months, 18, 24 months. And whenever that 0% interest ends, guess what? You're now paying interest if you have not yielded a return. So let's just change our perspective on the money. We use the bank's money to go out, access more capital from other institutions. But before I jump into all of this, I just want you to get familiar with me. Who is Doug Washington? Why am I qualified to speak to you? First and foremost, I'm a father of three kings. I'm a husband, I'm an investor, I'm a travel hacker. Now, obstacles that I overcame: environment, doubt, fear, hate, limited beliefs. All of these things are the most common things that I hear everybody say. Why they're not where they want to be. The environment. Well, you can change your environment simply from this screen right here. And you don't need to physically change your environment to actually change it. Whenever in all actuality, this right here changes your life. This 6.9, 6.7 inch screen can literally change your life. Doubt, fear, hate, limited beliefs. All of these things are self-inflicted. So you are literally holding yourself back. We put more influence on the environment whenever most of the obstacles that we say that's holding us back is self-inflicted more than anything else. Now, throughout this free class tonight, I'm going to be breaking down some things to you and exposing you to a lot of things that you may not think is possible. Now, exposure is the key word here. Exposure awakens an appetite for something you previously didn't know exists solely due to your lack of exposure to it. I want everybody to understand that part. If you're not exposed to something, you don't think that is true. But what I'm here to do tonight is show you and expose to you how I amassed millions of dollars of funding and grew multiple businesses to take care of myself and my family. But real quick, I need to know something from each and every single one of you. What is your financial goal for 2026 and beyond? Let me know in the chat what your financial goal is for 2026. From there, I would then ask you, how much have you invested into personal development this year? Because I guarantee you, where you are at financially is directly correlated to how much you have invested into yourself, whether it's content, whether it's personal development, whether it's communication, so on and so forth, with growing your personal brand or your business. But you must continuously invest into yourself to get to that next level. Now, let's talk about some returns on investment now that we're here. High yield savings account is going to average anywhere from 2 to 3% annually. Stocks and bonds is going to average anywhere from 9 to 11% annually. Real estate is going to average 11 to 13%. And for some people, those are amazing ROIs. But the return that you will get from investing into yourself is unlimited. You will never get an ROI similar to you investing into yourself, whether it's growing your personal brand, growing your business, growing how you operate in everyday life. And this may not always be in the form of finances. Oftentimes we put so much focus on the finance that we miss spirituality, we miss family structure, we miss the mindset, the mental health, so on and so forth. So remember, the greatest ROI that you will ever receive will be that one that you invest into yourself. Whenever I found mentorship, my life completely changed, right? My life completely changed in 2021 whenever I invested into my first mentor. And let me be transparent with each and every single one of you. That was the scariest thing that I have ever done in my life. Investing that $2,500 into myself whenever I was only making $550, $560 a week, that was very tough on me. I'm not gonna lie to you. And some of you are in that position now and you like, man, I don't know if I should. There's a lot of scamming going on the internet. Everybody says that they can get me results, so on and so forth. And I'm here to tell you, family, sometimes you gotta invest in things to realize you don't need them. You have to invest into things sometimes to realize this is not what I needed. But guess what? You're adding tools to your tool belt. And then not in the form of you not needing them, but you could meet some of the best people in your life from mentorships because they are on a path and on a trajectory to where you're trying to go. But as I invested in my first mentor and I got access to a community, I got access to certain information, it didn't stop there. In 2021, probably spent around $15,000 to $20,000 into personal developments, mentorship, so on and so forth. And that was the single most important thing that I have ever done in my life. Now, a lot of you may be thinking, Doug, where did you get the 15,000? I'm starting from zero. Well, I'm here to tell you, family, listen, Navy Federal gave me a $25,000 credit card within 90 days, family. I didn't go out and buy designer clothes, jewelry, so on and so forth. What I did was further my information. So if you're not in position to afford a $5,000 course, $10,000 course, so on and so forth, start with where you are. You're watching this probably on YouTube right now, and you're looking to elevate yourself financially. I drop a lot of great content. Check out the page. More importantly, family, just understand you will never stop investing into yourself to get yourself to that next level. Now, what I need everybody to do is stop treating opportunities like they don't have an expiration date attached. I challenge each and every single one of you to go and look at worldometer.info, and you literally get a real-time chart of how many people have been born today and how many people have died today. So that is a real life wake up call. And once again, family, stop treating opportunities like they don't have an expiration date attached. Now, why is this training important? Banks have been consistently tightening restrictions for the past 3 years. It's getting harder to get access to money to grow and scale our personal brands and or businesses. But guess what? The reason why you're here is for me to debunk the myth. 34% of Americans have bad or fair credit, resulting in 1 out of every 3 being denied for credit. That is way too much, family. Another reason why this training is important tonight is that 33% of businesses fail within the first 2 years due to lack of experience and access to funding. We're going to get past all of that tonight. Now, most business owners never make it past that initial first round of funding, 50,000 to 150,000, due to lack of banking knowledge. You guys are going to the wrong banks asking for the wrong products. You're going to banks that specialize in personal funding and you're asking them for business funding. You're going to banks that specialize in business credit cards and you're asking for business lines of credit. Just because they offer the product, that doesn't mean that you should take it from that specific institution. You have to know which institution specializes in what form of lending. Now, strategy is the single most important factor whenever we are credit stacking. Whenever we get access to capital, we don't go and invest into other businesses. We take that money and then we go and structure other banking relationships. So once this 0% interest phase ends, we now have another one already set up, primed and ready for us. So we can go for funding with that institution, pay off the previous cards, and we're still operating within that 0% APR phase. Now, tonight's takeaway, we're going to be breaking down some personal credit, profile structure, how to structure your profile to access anywhere from 100 to 250,000 in funding, business credit, how to structure your business, bank auditing, how to properly audit the bank to maximize funding. Relationships are very important. How do we strategically build relationships? Like a lot of people may miss out on that part. And lastly, how to leverage the credit system to build a 7-figure portfolio. Now, let's get into how I obtained over 2.3 million in funding and I've been able to grow multiple businesses. But before I jump into that, family, I just want to let you know, tonight, I don't have anything to sell you. I have an opportunity for you to further your financial journey, but I have nothing to sell you. Hold me accountable. If I come on here and I take your time and I don't drop valuable information to you, time is our most valuable asset. So I do not take it lightly whenever people give me their time. So hold me accountable. With personal credit, you must understand how to build a true FICO score. But before we can understand how to build a true FICO score, we must first understand what your profile is made up of. So payment history is first. Now we have utilization, also known as the amounts owed, the length of the credit, new credit, and credit mix. These are the 5 factors of your credit profile that you first must understand. But let me ask y'all a question. How many times have you checked your bank account over the past few days? I'm gonna wait for about 2 or 3 seconds to give you time to answer in the chat. How many times have you checked your bank account over the past few days? Some of you have said multiple times. Some of you have said, I've checked it 3 or 4 times today. Well, let me ask you this. How many times have you checked your credit report over the past few days? If you're checking your bank account more than you checking your credit report, that is a problem because your bank account can't get you access unless you already have it to 7 figures in funding, but your profile proven can get you access to millions and millions of dollars in funding. So what I need everybody to do is make sure that you are checking your credit report regularly to ensure there's no inaccuracies on there, right? Now, the first step in repairing your personal credit should be to pull a tri-merge credit report. We want to take note of any inaccurate information, such as your names, your address, date of birth, the account information on the specific account, so on and so forth. This is the first step, is making sure everything aligns up. One name, one address, one date of birth, and listen, family, the employer says a lot about you. Imagine you telling the institution that you make 2.5 million, but the employer on your profile says that you stock shelves at Walmart, you stock shelves overnight at Target. No disrespect to anybody that does, but listen, it's just not adding up, fam. The math ain't mathing, you feel me? Now, step number 2, we want to opt out of the primary, secondary consumer reporting agencies before our first round of disputes. So we went through, we pulled a tri-merge credit report, we took note of any inaccuracy across our profile. Now we're going to opt out of the secondary bureaus, LexisNexis, Innovis, SageStreams, ARS, CoreLogic, right? And there's many, many more. You can go to the CFPB's website to see there's hundreds of other secondary bureaus in which you must opt out who's housing the information. Also, if you have bad checking account history, Check Systems is one of the secondary consumer reporting agencies that collects and report data on checking account applications, openings, closures, and the reasons for the account closure. Now, if you are in Check Systems, you will need to opt out, and then you can start rebuilding with a secondary chance bank account, right? So it's also known as a second chance checking account. And make sure you ask each bank what the name of it is. Each credit union or bank will have different names for them, so on and so forth. Another SCRA that you must pay attention to is early warning services. And then the co-owners of this is Bank of America, Capital One and Discover, JP Morgan and Chase, PNC, Truist, Wells Fargo, and US Bank. These are the co-owners of EWS. So if they're the co-owners of this information and they are sharing this information, if you do one thing to one bank, guess what? They are now sharing that information to their close friends. And their close friends, BOA, Discover, Capital One, JP Morgan and Chase, PNC, Wells Fargo, Truist, US Bank. They're sharing information on how you treat them. So be mindful how you treat one institution, as multiple other ones may end up finding out about it. Step 3, I want everybody to go through and verify that all personal information matches. All information should match your active driver's license. This will help with identity verification during the funding process. So I want first, full, middle, and last name, not first, middle, initial, and last name. We want to make sure it adds up exactly how it is on your license. Now, once we went through, we've made sure that all of the personal information matches up. We now want to start on the dispute flow. Now, whether you use Metro 2 or Consumer Law, the result should be the same. I don't care which one you use. We want deletions, right? And if you need credit repair, hit the link below. My brother Joshua Rico runs an amazing credit repair company at www.approverepair.com. If you want to attempt to do this yourself, first and foremost, whenever a debt collection company takes over your account, So you may have owed Bank of America, you may have owed Chase, so on and so forth. They then do a charge off, sell this account to a debt collection company, and then they're going to reach out to you for an attempt to collect the debt. So a debt validation letter must entail your personal information, account number, the total amount, and the name of the creditor. This is the attempt to collect. But what we want to do is send a debt validation reason simply to state that, hey, I want you to prove that you validated this. And we're essentially doing this to stop the harassment. And under the FDCPA, this pauses the attempt to collect until they prove to you that they have validated it. And we're verifying or validating that it's not zombie debt. Most of these debt collection companies will try you outside of the statute of limitations. So make sure that you understand that part. And we can use for the debt validation reason 15 US code 1692G. Once we tell them to validate it, we want them to verify it. After receiving that validation letter from the third party collector, you want them to have them verify in writing the amount of the debt, the age of the debt, their authority to collect the debt. A lot of people don't realize this. You're communicating with a debt collection company who's not even qualified to collect debt in the state of Florida, in the state of South Carolina, in the state of North Carolina, so on and so forth. And you're paying things to a collection company that's not even obligated to collect from you. So make sure you understand that part. Now, just as a quick paper trail recap, first you had an attempt to collect. Then you had a secondary consumer reporting agency opt out who's housing the information on you. And then we done a debt verification. So we're essentially building out a paper trail. Now they're going to say they verified it. They're going to say they validated it. Now what we want to do is use code 15 USC 1681 I-7. And we want to send a letter to the bureaus and say this account is in violation as it was reported without valid evidence. You want to use this dispute reason in round 2 when you send out the method of verification letter. If they come back then and say that they verified it, so on and so forth, they will send you back a stall letter, etc. Now we want to start disputing the accuracy of the accounts. So you can use 15 USC 1681 EB. You can use 15 USC 1681 I-5 and basically saying that this account is in violation and is not reporting 100% accurate. But remember, family, if everything is not 100% accurate, you can use these laws to get things removed from your credit. I don't want you to think that it can be 99% correct. The law says that the account must be 100% accurate. Now, this is the first steps in the general dispute flow. There are many other strategies, family, but I want to kind of come in and give you that foundational sequence so you can start yourself. It may take 30 days. It may take 60 days. It may take an entire year to get things removed from your consumer report. But guess what we're supposed to be doing in the meantime, family? Building relationships while you're repairing, because the banks don't know you're going through credit repair. Only the banks that you ran off on, but other banks, they don't know that you're going through credit repair. So imagine developing a deposit relationship while you're going through credit repair. So as soon as these negative items or inaccurate items are removed off of your credit report, you now have a 6-month deposit relationship. You have a 9-month deposit relationship. They're going to grant you access to some very large limits. So if it takes you 6 months for repair, you can structure a minimum of 3 different banking relationships. And depending on the banker choice, this could result in you getting approved for multiple products. Now, I speak about it a lot. We do not add credit builders to our profile. You will pay for it later with both your time and credit limits. Please understand that. We do not add credit builders, rental karma, rent reporters. We add quality comparables. So whenever the banks see it, they want to lend us these max exposures, these high limits. Now, the account mix is very important. As I previously said, we don't add credit builders. The type of accounts that you have on your profile will dictate the way lenders lend to you. We don't want to be receiving $1,000 limits, $500 limits. We want to ensure that we get access to max exposures, 50,000, 20,000, whatever the max exposure is for the institution in which you're applying for. That's what we want. If we don't get them, we hitting up reconsideration, we asking for a credit limit increase, so on and so forth. But make sure that the profiles that you have reflect quality comparables, family. Now, primary accounts are those in which you are the owner of and responsible for paying. If you are starting from scratch, We always want quality, we don't want quantity. Authorized users, and I know a lot of people talk about it, they are great for boosting your age, but they should not be substituted for primaries as banks sometimes overlook them. You could be going in to apply for a business credit card, a personal credit card. Those authorized users will not hold any weight unless you have spending behavior on that particular card. So make sure if you are being added as an authorized user, you have access to the physical card to build out some internal data. As we get into profile structuring, I tell every single person, we must understand what is too much credit, what is too less credit. I tell everybody anywhere from 75,000 to 100,000 on your personal side will grant you access to max exposure on the business side. That's the primary focus of us building out our credits. We want to be able to go and get 0% business credit cards, liquidate them, build other banking relationships to grow our empires, our personal brands, our businesses, etc. As we go further, family, I want everybody to understand this part. Is different versions of your FICO score. You have a general FICO score, you have a FICO auto score, and you have a FICO bank card score. So if you go to My FICO or if you go to Experian, there's a drop down and there's a multitude of different FICOs. There are actually 16 different FICOs based on different factors: payment history on installment accounts, payment history on revolving, the types of credit cards that you have, how long you've been paying on specific lines on your profiles. But your FICO bank card score is weighted upon the history on credit cards, your credit utilization, the type of credit cards that you hold, your recent high balances. That's something that a lot of people miss out on, is carrying a recent high balance to show that you're actually using the credit. There's nothing worse than you having access to a $50,000 credit card and it's reflecting a $5,000 recent high balance. You're not using what's available to you. So if you had that on a multitude of cards, now you're getting denied for having access to too much available credit. Now, your FICO auto score is weighted upon history on installment loans and paid as agreed accounts. A lot of people don't realize this, but closed accounts are important as well. The payment trends on closed accounts says a lot about you as a consumer. How often did you pay? How long were you able to make consistent $1,500, $2,000, $2,500, whatever that amount is? How often were you able to make these payments? Now, each bank may pull a different FICO version depending on the product that you're applying for. Wells Fargo will often pull your FICO score 3. American Express pull your Experian FICO bank card score 8. Discover sometimes will pull your FICO bank card score 8. Bank of America sometimes pull your FICO bank card score 3 from TransUnion. Now, as we get into comparable credit, remember, comparable credit is determined by the quality and the amounts of your existing lines of credit. We want quality over quantity. I cannot stress that enough for everybody, that we add quality comparables. We don't care about these store builders. We don't care about these credit builders, these store cards. So I much rather you have $10,000 from Capital One, Discover, and Navy Federal versus having $50,000 from Target, TJ Maxx, and Bill. That is not comparable credit, right? Now, remember this, family. Whenever you are applying, understand that you are up against the underwriter. This will affect you if you're not structured correctly. So take into consideration DTI, which is your debt to income ratio, the type of accounts on your profile, your deposit relationship. We are building a minimum of 3 to 6 months in a deposit relationship before we ask any bank for any type of funding, right? And then also, a lot of people won't tell you this, the zip code and where you apply from. What zip code is associated with your primary address? If you are applying from a low zip code where the average house value is 75,000, 50,000, what ends up happening is they're judging you based off of that. So imagine you coming in with a high credit score, you saying that you make $2 million, but the average house value within that zip code is $50,000. Let's just make it make sense. You feel me? Like, most people will never tell you that part. Now, whenever you are applying, there's a thing called application rules. Understand that there are different tolerances or appetites for each institution. So a few of the new account sensitive banks is Bank of America, Chase, Barclays. Bank of America has a 234 rule. Chase has a 524 rule. Barclays has a 313 rule. You must understand this before you are applying. And this is greatly beneficial in our credit stacking journey, because knowing which card to apply for at what time will greatly benefit you through your credit stacking journey. You can either apply solely for the limit, You can apply for a sign up bonus or a spend bonus, or you can literally sign up for a 0% APR structure phase to where you're building other banking relationships. Now, let's get into the pledge loan play. A lot of people talk about this. Pledge loans are better than credit builders, and you can start as low as $500 and go up to $500,000 at certain institutions. Ensure that the capital is returned as the loan is paid down. We don't want to have large lines of capital stuck into one particular pledge or one secured loan. We want to ensure that they're releasing the money back to us as we are paying it down. And whatever liquidity that you have available, you can leverage the same capital multiple times. To avoid looking like duplicate accounts, we want to use different amounts. So let's just say that we had $10,000, right? You can go and open up a pledge loan for $10,000, pay off $9,500 of it, pay off $9,900 of it. Now what's going to reflect on this particular loan is you have 99% paid off on it, which makes you look more lendable to certain institutions. Now they release the money back to us. We then do another pledge for $7,500 or $8,000. We pay off 99% of that. Then we do another pledge for, let's just say, $5,000, or we could do it for $7,000. What you have now done was taking one $10,000 credit card or one $10,000 in liquidity and built out three different primaries from this one form of liquidation. I need y'all to understand that part. This is how we build out with our profiles and make us look more lendable than what we truly are. So let's get into some funding secrets. Application rules will tell you how many cards you can get in a certain time frame. Bank of America, 234 rule. 2 credit cards every 60 days, 3 credit cards every 12 months, 4 credit cards every 24 months. Chase has a 230 rule, which states that you can't get more than any 2 credit cards in 30 days. And they also have a 524 rule, which states that if you have more than 5 new accounts on your profile over the past 24 months, automatic denial. American Express has a 5-card rule, but within that 5-card rule, it states that you can get 2 credit cards and 3 charge cards. I need y'all to understand this. This is funding secrets that's going to position you to get access to maximum capital. Now, another funding secret that a lot of people don't talk about is double dip banks. And what is double dip banks? This is banks that will allow you to get multiple products and they only pull your credit one time. So Truist Bank will allow you to get multiple products off of one hard Equifax pull. American Express will allow you to get multiple products. I just went over the 5-card rule with one hard pull to your Experian or TransUnion report. Bank of America, the 234 rule. These are what you call double dips and multi-dip banks. Also Citizens Bank. They're called multi-entity funding. So if you have more than one business, you can go into Citizens Bank with 2 or 3 different corporations. They pull your credit one time from Equifax and you're able to fund each business. So imagine getting $20,000 on 3 different business credit cards to grow your personal brands and or businesses, right? Another funding secret that a lot of people don't talk about is that banks have multiple products and they should be prioritized solely from our reallocation. So think about this. You go in to Bank of America. You get approved for a $10,000 credit card. It's 0% interest for 9 months. Once the 0% APR ends, we apply for a second product, and then guess what we do? We get another $10,000 because we've shown that we can nurture the first $10,000 in credit. They mirror that limit, give us another $10,000. Guess what we do? We now push the limit from the first credit card over to the second credit card. Now we have $20,000 on that second credit card, and then the second card has 0% interest after we have leveraged the first credit card. Hope that didn't go over y'all head. All we're doing is transferring the limit from one card that is no longer 0% interest to the updated or new card that is 0% interest, and you combine it so you have access to more. Funding sequence 101. This is the way that it should go. Pre-qualification, soft pull, new account sensitive, multi-dip, stated/no documentation, and then light doc going to full documentation. This is the tiers of funding as you grow your financial journey. Now let's jump into some business credit, right? Structuring a 7-figure business. We want to have a proper business name, a proper business address, a proper business email, and then the entity structure is going to vary depending on if you want to do a corporation or LLC. But remember, family, I dropped a $47 ebook bundle that is going to break down how to properly do this step by step and ensure that you get access to the maximum exposure. So take advantage of that. The link is in the bio. Now, with the internal bank ratings, family, remember, Business bank ratings indicate the size of the loan that your business can service the debt on. Your business bank account reflects how you manage cash flow. This is why we deal with deposits, not just transferring money interchangeably in and out the accounts. The banks want to mitigate risk by ensuring that your business can handle the day-to-day expenses and debt associated with that business. So your internal bank rating is determined by the average daily balance over the past 90 days. Now, as we get into internal bank rating, just understand this part. We want to at least be at a low 5. A low 5 with your internal bank rating insinuates that you have 10,000 to 39,999 in your checking account. I wouldn't tell you to go over 10,000 because if you just try to put 30,000, 40,000 into one account, they don't mirror your limit and then they give you a denial for whatever reason. You have now wasted a 90-day deposit relationship with so much funding. This is why I tell you for every 10,000, that's going to be equated to one banking relationship. So if you have 30,000, that is 3 different banking relationships, family. But real quick, I want to talk about some top lenders under each bureau. So my top Experian lenders are American Express, PNC, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and Discover. My top Equifax lenders are Chase. Chase is now pulling from Equifax for business credit cards. I know that's brand new news to you, but as of late, they have been pulling from Equifax for business credit cards. Truist is another great lender under Equifax. Synovus, Citizens, and for the business line of credit, PNC will pull from Equifax. So remember, I said PNC pulls from Experian, but that was for a credit card. If you're going for a business line of credit, they're going to pull Equifax. So remember, family, the application rules are very important. What product you apply for will determine what bureau they pull from. Now, my top TransUnion lenders are Navy Federal, Goldman Sachs, BHG, Comerica, US Bank. These are all great institutions. Now, with that, let me talk about this. Imagine you using whichever bureau is your strongest because we can fund ourselves vertically, meaning that we go to 3 or 4 banks that are going to pull solely from TransUnion, 3 to 4 banks solely going to pull from Experian, 3 to 4 banks are going to solely pull from Equifax. Or we can fund ourselves horizontally, meaning that we go to 1 bank from Experian, 1 bank from Equifax, 1 bank from TransUnion. Therefore, we keep our bureaus open and not having so many inquiries. Right? So being very strategic in how you apply for credit is going to greatly benefit you in your journey. Now, let's dive a little bit into business credit. Most people think that you need a 80 paydex score. You need your Duns and Bradstreet to be high. But let me tell you something. Banks don't lend off of your paydex score. They don't live off of your Duns and Bradstreet, right? They don't lend off of your PayNet. They lend off of your Experian and IntelliScore, your small business financial exchange risk rating, your financial stability risk rating, right? And also payment trends says a lot about your business. You want to make sure that your payment trends is 100%, meaning that we're paying our bills on time, oftentimes early. So remember, family, we don't want to add net 30s to our profile. We want to ensure that we are adding quality small business financial exchange or SBFE trade lines. And these are business credit cards is going to report to Equifax and Experian as these are quality comparables. Now, key takeaway number 1 from tonight. The quality of the accounts on your profile, along with your internal bank score, determines how the banks will lend to you. I need you to understand that. The quality of the accounts on your profile determines how the lenders view you. You want to ensure that they see you as a high client, a high quality client, right? Key takeaway number 2, without a personalized strategy, you will miss out on thousands in funding without the correct knowledge. This is why I'm so heavy into bank auditing, knowing which bank to go to, which product to apply for, what's your product exposure, what's your max exposure, do you issue a UCC1? So all of this under bank auditing is very, very pivotal. Key takeaway number 3. Personal credit is to only be used for the structuring leading to higher limits on the business side. Business credit lends anywhere from 2.5 to 5 times the amounts that you have on that personal side. This is why I talk about structuring your personal profile with high quality comparables. Now, listen, family, I know this was a lot in a little bit of time, but I just wanted to come and bless you. And if you are wanting to further your financial journey, if you're wanting to get around hundreds and other entrepreneurs who has taken that leap of faith to invest into themselves, to, join mentorship, get around different communities, I want to present that opportunity to you. So right now, my mentorship is currently on sale. It won't be on sale long. You can hit the link in the description to join a very, very discounted price. Please, family, listen. All I ask is that you execute on the information, but execution only stops at the level that you stop learning. So what I want to do is bless you with the opportunity to come and sit down with hundreds of other entrepreneurs, further your financial journey, and have me as a lifetime mentor. I'll see you on the other side. And in my words, everybody eats. Let's go.